1 year today. Didn't really see her much. Would have gone down more if I'd known she was... But, 200 odd miles away, and I was busy. And she had Dad. They seemed okay, far as I could tell. "You've got a life of your own, my boy. Don't worry about us." That's what he always said. I rang every week, Sunday afternoon. Well, usually. But we were busy, me and Claire. And then the kids at weekends, ballet, rugby, music lessons. And I think we're entitled to a little bit of social life ourselves. Of course, we could have gone down, but there didn't seem any need. I go now, not every week, but often, pretty often. I make the time. It's the least I can do, really. It's funny, though, driving down on my own, just me, 4 hours each way. That's a lot of time to think.
So, yes, he comes. He comes to see me, and it's good to see him. It's good of him to come, of course, because he's a busy man, and a whole day is a big commitment. 4 hours each way it is, he's told me several times. But if he starts out early, we can get 5 or 6 hours in, which, of course, is rather nice. I'll give him his due. He does do a lot of little jobs for me, fixing stuff, putting things up like wallpaper and pictures. And he takes me out for lunch. Yes, he's always busy when he's here. It's strange, though. I spent a lot of time not really doing anything with Jeannie, but, well, that didn't really matter. That's being married, isn't it? If you were always doing something, you'd be exhausted, wouldn't you? It's all right when you're younger. All that energy, all that drive. But that's one of the things about getting older. Old. You learn to live the gentle little ripples. It's not all bracing winds and smashing waves.
Of course, I don't want to go. Well, the duty bit, that bit of me, of course I do. There's some kind of underlying satisfaction that I'm doing what I should. And don't get me wrong, it does give me pleasure, just not a pleasure I particularly want. But of course I'll go. Couldn't not. But I just parachute in, see to some provisions, tackle a task or two, then get winched back to real life. I do the decent thing. He knows. We both know. But we share a kind of silent conspiracy not to let on to one another. And it's not unpleasant. At the very least, it's company for him. Probably the most stimulating company he gets. Once a fortnight or so. Maybe not the most stimulating company I get. But it's only once a fortnight. Anyhow, all that time in the car set me thinking about me and Claire. We're always doing things. More stimulation in half an hour than in a ton of visits home. To Dad's, I mean. Now that the kids don't need us all the time, it's work, 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 then dinner party, theatre, Claire's charity ball stuff, golf, squash. No chance of being bored with us. We're going surfing next month. All 4 of us. New wetsuits, new boards. We're going to ride those waves. Well, we're probably going to fall off a lot if I'm honest, but it's going to be great. I know it. Barbie on the beach, game of cricket. Maybe not too many more years, I guess. Kids will be off, flying the nest. I went to the cinema last night. It was the first time since she died. I went to the cinema on my own. I'm 78, and it's the first time I've ever been to the cinema on my own. Got a taxi.
It was a good film. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the same. With Jeannie, well, it almost didn't matter what the film was like. It was better if it was good, of course. You'd enjoy it, and then you'd enjoy remembering you'd enjoyed it. We'd talk to each other on the way home, the next day, and maybe months later, even years. Something small would happen, and one of us would say, "That's like that film. Do you remember that seaside thing or whatever it was?" And we'd remember it, and remembering it together was just as good as the film. And if the film was rubbish, well, we'd remember the lousy bits, and that was just as good as remembering a good film, really. So, yes, I did enjoy last night. I was pleased I got myself up and about, and it was good to be a little bit daring, really. Old man out on his own in the dark, going to the cinema on his own. Nobody spoke to me. And of course, I shan't have anyone to remember it with, so it's not really going to be one of the best films. I could tell Jonathan at the weekend, of course, but it wouldn't be the same.
So, when they've gone, gap years, university, whatever, I'm thinking what Claire and I might do. You can make a lot of plans in 8 hours. Dream a lot of dreams. One thing I've pretty much decided, we're not just going to carry on the same. Not sure what, but an adventure. Thailand, sea kayaking, learn to ski jump, I don't know. But I look at Dad and I think, for God's sake, do something while you can, Jonathan. Take that cracking wife of yours and do something while you can, before you get too old. Squeeze your lives and make the juices run. Feel that wind in your hair while you've still got some. I don't know. Make love somewhere exotic. Somewhere risky. I want to stuff myself with life.
It's hard. I didn't realise when I was younger, when we were younger, me and Jeannie. We've got these photograph albums before all that digital camera baloney. We've got proper photographs in proper albums you can pick up and feel the memories in your hands. And they've got the high spots, of course, all the occasions, all those times we said, "Don't forget the camera, Jeannie. Don't forget the camera, George." The weddings, the birthdays, Jonathan's first day at school, graduation, special holidays, the big stuff. We've got all the things that seem to matter. And don't get me wrong, they did matter. They do matter. Oh yes, they matter all right. But the albums lie, really. Those pictures aren't the albums of our lives. What mattered, what really matters, are all the things that no one ever photographs. The little things we did day after day. The way you flicked the tablecloth across the table before you laid for tea. The way you touched my hand, just brushed it sometimes when you passed. No special reason, just because you could. The way you slid the crossword to my side of the bed and said, "Just the 3 for you to do today, dear." I so miss reading pieces from the paper to you. Just things that struck me. It's not so much the things I read. I can't remember any of them now, I think. I just remember reading them to you. Oh, Jeannie. My life made sense because someone else kind of understood it. The rhythms of it, the little nudges and surprises that no one else would guess were a surprise because they do not really know me. Jonathan comes, and it's very sweet of him, but he hasn't shared me. And he can't really.
I guess it must be difficult for Dad. To live that long with someone else and then suddenly, bang, you're on your own. He's pretty active, though. Not stuck in the house. He went to the cinema last night, apparently, on his own. Bit weird, that. Be a new one on me, I think. Enjoyed it, though, he said, so good on him. I'll get him to tell me all about it at the weekend.
Sometimes I almost wish we hadn't been so much together, Jeannie. If my day by day almost nothings had not been woven tight with yours. At least you got your memories, Dad, he says. But he doesn't realise that they meant so much more when you had yours as well. Because they were ours, Jeannie, not mine. But yes, I've got them. They're not in the albums. But I'll take them out and look at them from time to time. For both of us.